Greetings and welcome back. So in this screencast, we deal with the idea of symmetry. Symmetry pops up in 4th grade standards. We ask small children to recognize line symmetry. And you know what we mean by line symmetry. You've got some shape. Oh, let's pick a shape. You've got some shape and you recognize that if you draw a line right through there and you fold the figure over the line, this part lands on that part. And in that case, we call this line a symmetry line or a line of symmetry. Because if we fold the figure over that line, the figure is its own image when we fold. And you can find lots of images with symmetry in them. You can find figures with multiple symmetry lines, right? Like, let's see. This figure has a symmetry line through here and a symmetry line through here, and that was just me hitting the pen too many times, and symmetry line through there, right? You can have more than one symmetry line, but for any of those lines, when we fold the figure over the line, the figure is its own image. And that's how we know if there is a symmetry line. We can fold the figure over that line and it matches. We can talk about the letter A having line symmetry. We can talk about the letter, oh, what else? The letter H has line symmetry, right? Like we can draw the symmetry line, but we wouldn't say that the letter N has line symmetry, would we? Because you can't draw a line and fold over the line and have that end up where it was, right? But we would say that the letter N has turn symmetry. That's a vernacular term. The mathematical term is that it has rotational. Oh, that's not quotes. Rotational symmetry. So we take the letter N, and we rotate it 180 degrees, and it's a letter N. And then we rotate another 180 degrees, and it's a letter N, right? So if you can spin a figure about some point between 0 and 360 degrees, I mean, it's not going to be, oh, I spun it, but it didn't go anywhere. If you can spin it some number of degrees that's greater than 0 and less than 360, because, I mean, everything's got 360-degree rotation, right? You just end up right back where you started. You end up right back where you started if you spin around 360 degrees. So all those coaches that talk about turning their team around 360 degrees, just don't follow them. But this is 180 degrees, and you get an N. And so we say that the letter N has rotational symmetry. Lots of figures have rotational symmetry, right? This has rotational symmetry, 180 degrees. Let's see, this has rotational symmetry, 180 degrees. This has rotational symmetry, doesn't it? But how many degrees? Well, like, how far is that? I don't know. How far is that? I don't know. But we do know that from the start, we can do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times before we go back around 360 degrees, and each of those must be the same. So 360 divided by 5, that's 72 degrees. This has 72-degree rotational symmetry, because if we rotate 72 degrees, we get the pentagon. 72 degrees, we get the pentagon. 72 degrees, we get the pentagon, and all the way around. Okay, those are two of the main kinds of symmetry. Sometimes we talk about point symmetry. Um, Point symmetry is really just 180-degree rotational symmetry. It's got a special name, and I'm not really sure why, but you take the letter Z, or if you're Canadian, Z, and you've got this point symmetry, because right here at this point in the middle of the Z, if we, oh, that's just terrible. If we were to spin this thing around 180 degrees about that point, it would end up where it started. So point symmetry is a special kind of symmetry. It is a rotational symmetry of 180 degrees. It's a special name for a special kind of rotational symmetry. That's all there is. We don't look at other kinds of symmetries with small children, so you have to be familiar with point symmetry, which is really turn symmetry, which is called rotational symmetry, and then you have to be familiar with line symmetry. And if you can do all of that, you're in really good shape. So again, this is another great opportunity to fire up a search engine, to find images with symmetry, and make sure you can place lines of symmetry where lines go, um, figure out rotational symmetry if it exists, where 180 degrees is the most common, and that has a special name. Okay, this gives you something to think about and a little bit of homework to do, and then we'll see each other in class.